Sometimes when you're working on a piece of music, you might have a chord or a melody or a track that you love, but you just can't seem to make it work. You could try it out with different singers, vocalists, rappers. You try all these different things over it, and it just doesn't happen. And it could be incredibly frustrating because you know there's something in this piece of music that's so exciting that every time you hear it, just the first two chords, you're just it can become quite maddening because you're like, why can't I just get this thing to work? And then I've had other songs where there's a chord progression that I'm so obsessed with and haunts me that, like, not being able to get it to work, I'll try to make it work over 2, 3 albums. I mean, if you think that Stevie Wonder took a song that he wrote for Tammy Terrell in the late 60s and turned it into All I Do, a disco classic some 15 years later. I mean, it just shows a testament of you can reinvent chords not only over different kinds of rhythms and beats and arrangements, but different eras. So one song that I was working on during my album record collection was this demo, and I love the chords so much, and every time we'd come to the studio, I just make the whole band play it because I wanted to hear it. And every time we tried to make it into a song, it never worked. But 10 years later, somehow we were able to reuse those chords for a song that I wrote with Yebba called Don't Leave Me Lonely, which is one of my favorite songs on the Late Night Feelings album, and a song that really started my relationship with Yebba, who's one of my favorite singers ever. What I thought would be great to show how, different chords with completely different sounds, if they're good solid chords and you believe in them, and how you can lend that to a whole new song. The chords, I can't even exactly quantify what moves me. I mean, music is obviously so subjective. The kind of chords that are going to move you are going to be different sometimes than what moves me. We all have this inner language, these things that we gravitate to. But you just know when you're obsessed with something, when you feel like something truly can be special, and you're like, I'm not going to let that idea die. I'm not exactly sure what it was about those chords, but just to look at them, it's pretty straightforward. It just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 So, kind of simple, but a little haunting and melancholic. And I spent the better part of the next 10 years trying to shoehorn them into any project I was working on. If I was working with Bruno, I was working with Jeff Basco on my Uptown Special record, I'd be like, what do you think of these chords? Are we ever going to get a way to use them? And I think on each record we would have tried for a little while and never really came up with something. And then Andrew Wyatt and I met Yebba in 2017, and we were at Electric Lady Studios, and she came in, and we had never met before. So we told Yebba, we have these chords we really love in this melody, and we think your voice is so great. Can you put some lyrics to it, and we want you to sing this song. So I think after 2 to 3 hours of Yebba trying to fit lyrics to our existing melody, which is quite tough because, it's such a specific cadence, and a lot of songwriters really like to write the lyrics and melody at the same time because they can be really linked. And we stopped playing the track on repeat for about 5 minutes, and we just decided to jam. So we just went in the room, and instead of maybe listening to the track over and over again, which is what happens a lot when you're in the writing situation, we just went in and we just started playing the chords. And something about playing the chords, and she just started freestyling a melody. And it was so beautiful, and it was so much better than the thing that we were trying to force her to write to, that we just went, okay, that's the song now. Because you can come into the studio as much as you want with a set idea of what you're going to get out of that day. But the thing about the creative process that's so beautiful, and maybe one of the most wonderful things, is that when you go to the studio every day and you fire up your laptop or whatever it is, and you turn on your tape machine, you really have no idea what's going to come out. You can even have the best intentions of what you think, what you want to achieve, but really the thing about the creative process is being open to the inspiration and the fact that anything could change and take a turn at another moment. And that's why it's really a good idea too sometimes to, when you're writing with somebody and collaborating, instead of just maybe leaving the track running and just looping while people are trying to get ideas, because that is one way that we really write. Another idea is to sometimes turn the track off and just start playing. There's all these different ways to change the energy in the room. And those are the things that you need sometimes, just one little spark. So we started jamming and playing this really loose, and Yeba started singing, and we instantly went, what is that? She's like, I don't know, I'm making it up. And we couldn't hit record fast enough. And that is another great lesson, if I could tell you anything, to just always be recording, because you never know when someone's going to sing some melody, and if it's somebody that's almost going to another place when they're writing, you know, it's really hard for them to come back to that and remember. Like, we asked Yeba what she had sung, and she was like, I don't know. So we probably missed about 2 or 3 golden melodies because we weren't recording at the time. But once we did hit it, and she started to write to this song, it became so superior to any of the ideas that we had had before. So our little chords that were at one point this weird synthy lo-fi jam called Solar Power became this song with Yeba called Don't Leave Me Lonely Tonight. The fact that those chords that I was super fixated on back in 2010, you know, the fact that we went into the studio with Yeba and they became this song that's one of my favorite songs, you know, I've worked on, it really is a testament to the fact that if there's an idea that just from that first instance makes your hair stand up, it really is worth chasing. It's worth seeing that through to the end.